Okay, this is Math 2. We're going to do 70 to 73. First one says, for the function f of x, or 7x minus 2, write the equation of the inverse function. So show that your inverse function is correct. Choose an input number for the function, and then put the output into the inverse, and then make sure it works. So this one's actually pretty nice. So the normal way, the first thing that they do is they multiply by 7. And then the second thing that they do is subtract 2. Okay, well, for the inverse, you're going to do, the first step is the opposite of the last step. So you're going to add 2. And then number 2, you're going to divide by 7. So that would look like, let's see, f inverse of x. You're going to add 2 to the x plus 2, and then you're going to divide everything by 7. Okay, there's that. Show that inverse function is correct. Choose an input number for the function, and then put the output number into the inverse. So I like to use the easy one. Let's go with 1. 1 sounds awesome. So if I have f of 1 in, right, I'm going to say, okay, well then 7 times 1 minus 2, so then it's 7 minus 2, so then I get a 5. Okay. So that's the first one.
Ramirez to the counseling office, please. Silverio Ramirez, counseling office, please.
Okay. So then if I put f of inverse in with the 5, right, because I'm going to take the 5, I'm going to plug it into the inverse one, and I should get a 1 out, ideally. So I'm going to say, okay, well, 5 plus 2, oopsie, 5 plus 2 at the top, because the x was 5, and then divide by 7, so I get 7 over 7, which is equal to 1. Okay, so inverse of 5 is 1. If I plug in a 1, I get a 5. If I plug in a 5, I get a 1. So that's how you check that it works out correctly. If you plug the number, if you plug anything in and then get that number out, you should be good. Plug that answer in for your input and get the output that you plugged in as your input. Okay, number 71. Using focus directrix paper, sketch the parabola that has a horizontal directrix 4 units above the focus, which is at 0, and then your focus is at 0, 0. You can get the focus directrix paper. Okay, we're just going to use regular graphing paper. I don't know why you don't need focus directrix paper. Okay, so we have, okay, I'm going to draw 4 units. The wall is 4 units above the focus. Okay, so it means we're probably going to be going down. Okay. There we go. You need graph paper for this. So if you don't have graph paper, please go get some. Because you need to learn how to graph this. And so that's my x. This is my y. Okay, where's my wall? So my wall is going to be 4 units above the focus. The focus is going to be at 0, 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the wall. Right, so at y equals 4, this is the directrix. Better known as my wall. Go through the wall. And then the focus is at 0, 0. Okay, so here is the person that we were trying to get to. And then the person standing in between the focus person and the wall, that was going to be our vertex. So in this case, our vertex is going to be at, this is vertex, is going to be at 0, 2. Right, because it's exactly in between the wall and the person that we were focusing on. Okay, now, in general, okay, this parabola is going to go in this direction because there's no way that it's going to go through the wall. Or when we lined up and did the activity, it's not going to go through the wall. All it's going to do is go in the opposite direction. So if this is true, we got to find another point where we are the same distance from the focus person as we are from the wall. So usually I typically say, okay, well then just go another point where we are the same distance out as we are this way. So sometimes it actually does help to count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. there's the next point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the next point. So that means our parabola is going to make a downward track, and it's going to go something like that. Okay, now the actual work for this. Our vertex is at 0, 2, and then we have 2 points that we can use. So we're going to use the positive one because that'll just make life a little bit easier. So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4, 0. So we're going to use 4, 0. And I'm going to take this parabola and move it up over here so that I can actually do the work for this. So this is going to look like y equals a times x. The vertex is at 0 and 2, so x minus 0 squared plus 2 because we went up 2, right? We have 2 points. We have 4 and 0. I'm sorry, and then we have negative 4 and 0, but I'm going to use the 4 and the 0. So this is like the x, this is like the y. The x is the 4 minus 0 squared plus 2. We still need to solve for a. 0 is the y. A 4 squared plus 2, right? So 0 equals 16a plus 2. Subtract 2 on both sides. And then we get negative 2 equals 16a. Divide by 16 on both sides. So we get negative 1 over 8 equals a. Okay, which should make perfect sense since the negative answer, your parabola is going down. You should have definitely gotten an a. So as a final answer, y equals negative 1 over 8 times x minus, well, I guess you could do x minus 0 squared plus 2. Or if you really want to clean this up, negative 1 over 8 x squared plus 2. So I will take both of these. Chances are your other teacher probably wants this one right here. Okay, and then number 72 and 73 we're going to have to do on the next one. So, yeah, just watch the next video for the other two.